Update. Am I the a-hole for exposing my parents' favoritism? Original story. My parents have always favored my younger brother. I was by no means in love, but it was blatantly obvious who they cared about more. I worked a part-time job to get my first car, but my brother got one as a present. It wasn't new, but was much newer than my car. It was the same with just about anything else, like clothes, video games, and cell phones. I'm now 18 and I'm taking a gap year before community college to work a full-time job and save money for tuition. But a while back, I heard my parents talking about how much they were going to pay for my brother's tuition. I secretly recorded a conversation from around a corner, and then came out asking my parents why they were going to pay for my brother's college but not mine. They didn't notice my phone was recording and just said that my brother needs more help. I asked how so, when I wasn't getting any sort of scholarship and he likely wouldn't either. Then I asked a few more questions about why things have always been this way. They got mad, and my father told me that perhaps it's time I move out because they are sick of keeping a roof over my head. I pointed out a parent, but they didn't care. I left the room and in a fit of rage, uploaded a video to 2 different social medias I have, and ranted about how this is how my parents have always been. Well, a few hours later, my parents were pounding at my door. My dad was screaming at me about how I made them look bad. We fought some more, and they left the room fuming. My grandparents contacted me later and said they were appalled, then came to visit with a lot of the family the next day. There was a huge family intervention, and my parents were made to sit on the couch and look at their feet while being told off. It was then I found out they'd been receiving money for years from my grandparents to help with the family expenses. My brother looked like he didn't know what to do, so he sided with the rest of the family and said he's noticed how I'm treated as well. My parents gave me a huge apology that sounded forced. My grandparents have offered that I come live with them soon and will cut off the monthly payments to my parents. My father told me I should have never told the rest of the family and now won't talk to me, and my mother has been crying for days. So I'm starting to wonder if I went too far. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not today, home. Your parents are just pissed because people know the truth about them, and they're no longer going to be receiving handouts from your grandparents. That's what they're really upset about, losing their free money. Go live with your grandparents. They sound awesome with how quickly they backed you. Not today, Hall, and wow, very well played. I'm delighted to hear that the rest of your family had your back. Good luck. Right? It's so good to hear that the rest of the family supported Opie, since that never seems to happen in the sub. Not today, Hall, all the way. As someone who was cast aside because my parents favored my younger sibling over my brother and I applaud you loud and clear. Go live with your grandparents if that's what you want, or go stay with friends. I have a feeling you're going to be just fine and excel at whatever career you choose. You didn't go too far. You conquered. Go live with your grandparents, save your money, and get your education. You didn't cause this. They did. Good luck and hugs. And now for the update. I decided to go ahead and call my grandparents to accept their offer to move in. During the phone call, I asked them why there was monthly payments being sent to my parents. Turns out my parents were living beyond their means for a while because my mother quit her job to be a full-time stay-at-home mom. My grandparents decided to help out by sending them money monthly to help with my parents' mortgage, and also to set aside some of that money for college savings for both my brother and I that was to be split evenly. Turns out my parents only planned to put that savings towards my brother's college, and that's also how they bought his car as well. So from now on, my parents are now on their own financially. Likely my mother will have to go back to work to help my dad keep up the mortgage. I confronted my parents and asked why they've always treated my brother as the favorite. Then asked if there was something I needed to know. Turns out there was nothing. Literally nothing. I'm not an affair baby, not even an unplanned pregnancy. They just liked my brother more. I was mad as hell, and we argued a lot before I left the room because I had enough. My grandparents showed up on Saturday with a moving truck. My parents were floored when we started bringing in boxes to pack. My father got in our way, and I reminded him how he said that I should move out. So I am. My mother cried some more and said that my father was just angry in the moment when he said that, and they had been counting on my rent money to help with my brother's college fund. I asked if that meant he would never have had to pay rent like I did when it turns 18. My father then said that since I was taking a gap year to work, then my rent money could have helped my brother, which means they never intended for him to get a job while going to college. My grandpa was enraged and confronted my father, saying he raised him better than this. He chewed him out, saying he's never been more disappointed in him, and they will no longer receive any more financial support. And then said he disowned them both if they ever tried to retaliate against me for exposing them. My father backed down, but neither he or my mother said another word to me. I had a bit of an awkward conversation with my brother as we said our goodbyes to each other, and that was it. I just got in my car, waved, and drove off. I'm now fully moved into my new room at my grandparents' house. It's a little smaller but nice, and my grandparents are very welcoming. I'm going to keep working hard to move forward from here, and I appreciate everyone's support. They had been counting on my rent money to help with my brother's college fund. At that point, any doubts you had should have disappeared. You're leaving forever, and their only thought is, but what about money for us and your brother? Your parents are irredeemable a-holes. Also, I really like your grandfather. My grandpa's an incredible person. He's stern but very nice, and I'll always be thankful for his support. I'm so glad you've got your grandparents. And please tell him that a very impressed internet stranger said I wish he'd adopt me as his grandchild. My dad could use a good telling off like that. Holy heck, that was deservedly brutal. Congrats on escaping your parents, and I hope you have nothing but good things from here on out in life. Thanks. I'm so sorry this happened to you. My dad's parents were just like this for absolutely no reason either. I'm glad your grandparents have helped you move in with them. Kudos to you for trying so hard to buy your own car, etc. Thanks. It took a year of saving from a part-time job to afford a car, but I got a good deal on it and it runs pretty decent. So this whole situation sucks, but there is a bright side here. You know the value of $1 and have developed a good work ethic. You know how to budget month to month, prioritize rent, and save toward big purchases. In a way, your brother was a victim of your parents too. He'll probably have a much harder time than you when he eventually needs to become self-sufficient. They're doing him a tremendous disservice by handing him everything. Because, as you well know, that isn't how the world works. I agree with you there completely. Hopefully now that my parents will have to budget more and my mother will need to get a job again for the first time in nearly 20 years, my brother will see what it was like to live in my shoes. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my dad's wife I don't feel comfortable having her walk me down the aisle next to my dad? My mom died when I was 12. Then my dad married Sarah when I was 15. To me, she was always my dad's wife, not my parent. My step-parent if you want to use the title, but the woman my dad is married to always fitted best for me. I think my age played a big part in that, and she was never a female role model for me. She's never someone I went to for maternal advice. Now that I'm getting married, I asked my dad to walk me down the aisle. My fiancé is also getting walked down the aisle by his dad. My dad's wife thought about this and felt since my fiancé's dad never remarried and doesn't have a significant other, she should be included in the walk to show I have two parents and not just one like my fiancé. Therein lies the problem. To me, I do only have one parent. She never filled any kind of significant role in my life. I appreciate her as the woman who makes my dad happy, but I don't feel like she was much of an influential person in my life, and I don't love her like that. So the idea of having her be presented as my second parent feels wrong. I told her I didn't feel comfortable with it, and she told me it was wrong after 10 years of knowing her. She left it alone after that, but then she learned that I took a patch out of my mom's wedding dress to add to mine, and she told me I was refusing to represent all my parents, and that was wrong. I told her yet again I did not feel comfortable with it. She said I was an a-hole, but Dad told her she was overreacting. My sisters are hearing crap about it too. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Who invites themselves into a wedding party? That's obnoxious. Obnoxious people with no boundaries. Tell me about it. No respect for boundaries, obnoxious and entitled stepmother as much. Sounds like stepmother had been jealous of Opie for a long time. When my sister, person closest to in the world, got married, I wasn't in the party, didn't even sit with her, and I didn't care. We had a conversation where she asked if I would be upset because she was trying to keep things simple. And I said, heck no. Honestly, I would have cooked the food and served the table / cleaned if it meant she got to experience the day she wanted. Because that's what matters, not who gets to sit where and what dress they can wear. Without being unkind, you told her plain as day how you felt. She just didn't like what she heard. Stick to your feelings about it, Opie, and let her know you're not entertaining any future discussions about it. If she starts up again, shut it down. walk away and call, do anything else but continue listening to her about it. Also, weird flex that she wants to let the entire gathering know that you have 2 parents but your fiancé only has 1. Weird competition going on there. Congrats on your impending nuptials. Agreed. I've never heard of the mother walking down the aisle with the dad. All the weddings I've been to, the mother of the bride gets escorted individually. I'm so glad to hear your father is supporting you though. Not today, home. Your wedding, you choose who walks you down the aisle, if anyone. It just said she should be included in the walk to show I have 2 parents and not just 1 like my fiancé. WTF? That's just weird. Since when was aisle walking a statement on how many parents one has? So weird. Honestly, if I was OP, I would have called out that weird comment. Why is it important to lord over the fiancé that she has 2 parental figures? Weird flex. I think it's more she wants everyone else to realize she's there and thinks she's my parent. Next story. Am I the a-hole for not informing my boy dad that stepdad was adopting me? My boy dad and mom had me when they were dating. He broke up with mom and got with his ex-wife and mom had full custody. He visited like thrice a year and I never went over as his ex didn't let him bring me to her house. I went to the same high school as one of my half-sister and we didn't even acknowledge each other. My stepdad has been my dad for as long as I have known him. He has always been there for me and my step-siblings treated me like baby of the family. It was my stepdad's birthday, and my sister paid for the paperwork for me to change my name and for adoption paperwork. He loved it and said it was the best birthday gift he ever received. My brother later said they got me a jersey with my stepdad's surname on it, and I posted that on Instagram. My boy dad called me and asked me if I was letting him adopt me. I said yes, it was my idea, and he got upset that I didn't show him the courtesy of informing him. I feel bad because I forgot about him and didn't even consider him when I made a decision. I should have been an adult about it and had a discussion with him, even though I don't need his permission as I am technically an adult. Now for the comments. Not today, hole. I should have been an adult about it and had a discussion. Forget this, okay? You don't need to discuss this with him. It was your decision and only yours. He only bothered to see you 3 times per year, and thinks his opinion on the matter is important. Lol. I think that the fact that Opie forget about him says a lot about the closeness of the relationship. The guy just hasn't been there. What kind of man allows his wife to ban his kid from his home? That alone sold it. What a contrast in choices. Dad's wife and kids don't want anything to do with Opie. Mom's husband and step-kids welcomed her into the family. Not today, home. He is the one that went away and almost ignored you all his life. He can't all of a sudden decide that he wants to be a parent just because he is hurt. It was not intentional to hurt him, you just forgot. And why would you consider him? You weren't even allowed at his home. He didn't deserve to be remembered. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for kicking out my girlfriend? So I have a cat named Raven who's 3 years old. My girlfriend of 2 years moved in with me a few weeks ago and it was clear she didn't like my cat. I didn't think it was really a big deal. Until one day I got home and he was just gone. He's not an outdoor cat and he never goes outside. He was gone for hours and I was worried sick. Until my buddy came to my house and returned him, saying he found him 2 blocks from my house. I asked my girlfriend how my cat, who has never tried to go out before, ended up that far from my house, and she admitted to kicking him out. I was furious, saying she had no right to kick him out, and told her that since she thought she has the power to kick my cat out, I wanted her out of my house by the end of the month. She cried that she had nowhere to go, and that she would have to live on the streets. I said I didn't care and told her to leave by the end of the month. My friends think I'm being too harsh, but my cat could have died because of her, and I don't want her trying anything else. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. The cat was there first. Oh damn. So the girlfriend threw out an indoor black cat during Halloween season? Shelters don't even let people adopt black cats this time of year because people can be very superstitious. Raven is lucky to be alive. Keep her away from the cat. She's going to hurt him, I guarantee it. Let him stay with someone until she's gone. Not today, hole. This chick is psycho. That's right. She is capable of unspeakable evil and had a proven track record of animal cruelty. No remorse either. That's what I said too. Definitely a psycho. I second whoever said he should get a restraining order. Also, your friends are crazy if they think you're being harsh. They must all be just like her. Not today, Hall. She figured out how to live separately from you until a few weeks ago. She can figure it out again. Also, she knew about that cat for 2 years. If she doesn't like the cat, why move in with Opie? Because she thought she could always just get away with getting rid of the cat unilaterally. She's acting like this is an ask forgiveness, not permission situation, when it's actually a holy cow, get the heck out of my life, you unempathetic monster situation. Stand your ground, Opie. She is self-centered to the point of not caring if a living creature lives or dies or suffers. Your cat is worth way more than a relationship with someone like that. Consider dumping the friends too. Edit. To be clear, I mean dump the friends telling Opie is being an a-hole for kicking her out, not necessarily the friend that rescued the cat. Not today, Hall. But still, I think there's a lot of red flags in this relationship for her to just dump your cat. Yeah, I don't think we're suited to be together. I would agree with you there. I was never a fan of cats, and my girlfriend had one, well, before we met. She would always joke with me, hey man, she was here first. I'll be fine without you. We moved in together back in April, and I learned to accept said cat, and even had some fun together. Our cat passed away very suddenly about a month ago. I cried more than I expected, and I realized I was a bigger fan of my girlfriend's cat than I let on. 100% not today, home. Miss you, Luna.